Good morning, everybody. 5 to 11 here. Sorry, I was just looking at my clock. It's Amanda. It's the 8th of July, 2020. I hope you're doing well. A long rambling road leading up to this video today. But I have decided that I'm just going to pull from one deck. I was going to be pulling from two, and it's a deck that is linked into shadow work and the night, you know, what lies within the night, what lies within the subconscious, what lies within our shadow and the darkness. And I was going to show you two decks. One of them I have literally just put into the bin. It hadn't been in my possession that long. I've been struggling with it for the last 24 hours. I don't think I'm going to get it out of the bin either. I've been struggling with it, and it wasn't just because it's a shadow deck and I can't go there. You know, I just want the fluff. That's not me. I'm happy to go into the darkness. It was the energy of this particular deck, and this is why I'm talking about it. I'm not going to tell you which deck it is because I think that's totally disrespectful to the creator of it. It's also not a well-known person, okay? So it's none of the well-known spiritual teachers that you may know anyway. It feels as though it was all about a lesson in terms of be very careful of the tools that you work with. We currently have a plethora of decks, both oracle decks and tarot decks, that you can work with. And the truth is that they are only as good as the energy of the person that creates them, both in terms of the artwork and the writing, the whole thing. Potentially even the production house as well. A product, whatever it is, whether it's a deck of cards, whether it's a piece of food, whether it's a book, whatever it is only ever as good as the energy of the person that creates it. It is a product of their creation. So if you have a mind that is quite disturbed, that creates something, what you link into is that disturbed energy, which may very well be masquerading and masking as something else. And that's why I struggled with it. That's why it took me 24 hours to put it in the bin, because I was thinking, yeah, but it's a shadow deck. Maybe it's supposed to make you feel like this. And then I kept looking at the images on it, and it was like, no, this is really gross. These images are really gross. They're repelling me. There's nothing in this that's inviting me in to want to do any healing on any of these subjects. And so I think it's just worth commenting on it, okay? Because it won't be the only deck out there. It's happened to me twice. I think I've mentioned it once before. It happened to me before when I was in Glastonbury and I bought a deck of cards. Can't remember who it was by. And I'm always excited when I get a new deck. It's literally like, you know, like a kid at Christmas, and I like rip off the cellophane to see, you know, what's inside. And I did that, and I remember I took the wrapping off when I was in the street. I was that excited to see what was in the box. And I had the same reaction to what's just happened then. It was like, ooh, this is like yucky. This is yucky energy coming out of this. And I put it into the litter bin in Glastonbury High Street. In many ways, I wish I'd taken it home and actually maybe burnt it or something, because somebody else might have found it. But for me, it just was completely discordant with my energy. Maybe this is why Metatrons wanted me to talk about it, because I think as we elevate our consciousness, which is what we're doing with Ascension, and we're upgrading the whole time, and what that means is our light body is upgrading as well, then you are going to be finding that things that you look at, whether it's on the television, whether it's in film, whether it's people that you're listening to, whether it's people in your life. I talked about letting go of people whose energy is just not right for you anymore. But here's another example, some of the tools. And the truth is, and we don't like to talk about this in terms of spiritual communities, but not everybody that does spiritual work and not everybody that produces spiritual goods are actually working for the light. I'm afraid, you know, it's just the truth. So just be careful, be discerning. That's all I think I need to say on that. It always shocks me when I come across it. I have just saged myself and the space. I've got some incense going on. So we'll say goodbye to that. We will welcome in, though, a deck that I do feel is very good for helping us look at the shadow, has got some challenging concepts within it, isn't fluffy, light. Having said that, there is one card in it that I just pulled which shows a fluffy kitten. But no, it's a more challenging deck, and I think it's good. And the deck is Wisdom of the House of Night by Colette, Reid and PC Cast. And maybe this is part of it as well. I am not by any stretch of the imagination trying to stop you experimenting and looking at new creators' work, okay? And say you should only go with names that you know, okay? Because that's not what I believe to be true. It's also the channeling that I did with Prince about a month or so ago. That was one of the real things that he was going on about, that actually we must explore and we must look at different people's work and new creators' work. But yet within that, you know, again, discernment is needed. Just because something looks good on the outside doesn't mean that actually it's good when you open it. You know, it's a bit like biting into an apple and it looks okay, but actually it's pretty rotten. The core of it is rotten. And if you take a bite from it, it sort of can contaminate your energy. Sorry, that's just a bit of news flashing up on my phone. Okay, right, let's pull a card from this deck then, by Colette Reid. This is the deck that I do think is good, okay? I haven't named the one that I didn't, okay? Because I just don't think it's right. And also, it wouldn't feel comfortable for me, because I would be criticising somebody who I can see in their work, they're still terribly wounded and damaged and potentially even disturbed mentally. So what you don't do is then throw them to the wolves, you know, you actually send love to that. So when you choose, or I have chosen in this case, not to work with that deck, I've thrown it away, but I've thrown it away with love, okay? And I could maybe burn it in my fire tonight with love, you know, and with some healing for the person concerned. I know I'm sounding terribly melodramatic, but actually it is real. This is real. You've got to be careful with regard to the tools that you use. And this is why there is always an element of truth in terms of what the likes of Doreen talk about, okay? And we must be aware of that. You know, and she takes it to a ridiculous degree, you know, and is becoming more and more extreme by the day. And I'm sorry to say that, but she is. She would have you throw out every single deck in your collection, you know, every single New Age book, hate the word New Age, you know, every New Age teacher, every crystal, every, you know, beautiful ornament such as that, you know, that's of the devil according to Doreen and her like, you know. But yeah, there is some truth, because when you feel a deck like I've just felt, I could feel it wasn't holy, let's put it that way. It wasn't holy, it didn't feel sacred, it felt, Metatron's given me the word dirty. It's dirty. So, you know, just, you have to be discerning in everything in life. There's no need to worry about it. There's no need to panic about it. Metatron's given the analogy of food. It's exactly the same with food. You're discerning, aren't you, in terms of what you put into your body, what you bite into. You know if something feels or smells off, you know, or it tastes off. Will be like that with spiritual tools as well, you know, including books, including decks. If they don't feel right, you know, and they're making you feel lower in your energy, which is nothing to do with linking into something that needs to be healed, which is challenging. Please take note of it, okay? Right, that's enough of all that then, Metatron. Let's now pull a card from this deck. He's saying to me, just reinforce to them there's nothing to be scared of. And he's saying, tell them that in your experience, okay, what he wants me to say is that within my experience, I've been working with cards since 2005, basically. I've had what happened to me today twice, okay? So this is 15 years. I've had 2 decks come into my possession over 15 years. And I've probably got, oh, God knows how many decks, an embarrassing number of decks now. I've had that experience twice and I knew straight away. And Metatron is saying also it's to do with when you're aligned with your guide will tell you, okay? And it doesn't mean that you get the booming voice in your head that says, put that card down, you know. It's like there's a knowingness. So this is also to do with the relationship that you have with your guide, you know, trusting yourself, trusting your instincts. What I did with that deck that I've binned is I spent a bit longer than that, 36 hours maybe, humming and hawing about it, thinking, is it me? Is it not? Is it, you know, maybe I'm just not ready for it. It's like, no, this isn't about not being ready for it. This is actually a deck that is contaminated. Get rid of it, okay? Get rid of it, which is what I've done. Okay. Okay, Metatron, let's see. So, Wisdom of the House of Night deck. This is devoted to the goddess Nyx, N-Y-X. And there is a myth and folklore attached to her. Colette talks about it in the little book that you get. She's called the Goddess of Night. That's as far as I'll go today because, you know, I don't want to just read the whole book to you. You can buy it yourself if you're interested. Let's just pull some cards. Let's have 4 cards today, please, Metatron. From this deck, what is the message? Ah, I'm saying love. Love can actually be the most painful, brutal thing, can't it? Let's be honest. It can also be the stuff of magic and roses and chocolates, but it can also be painful, painful. Okay, love. Love has come up. Differences. Can you love somebody? Let's take it away from romance and relationships and partnerships. Can you, we might come back to it, but at the moment it's like, can you love somebody who is very different from you? Can you love your shadow? Can you love your shadow? Can you love those parts of yourself that are actually quite ugly, that are, that you know there is an aspect of your personality which isn't particularly pleasant? Maybe you can be catty or bitchy, maybe you can be judgmental, maybe you can be controlling, maybe you can be argumentative, maybe you can be spiteful, jealous, envious, you know, whatever. We've all got something, and most of us have got more than one thing. So can you love the shadow as much as you love the light? Straight away, people sort of get into this thing about, well, of course I don't love the darkness. I don't love the fact that I'm jealous and spiteful. It's not what I mean. It's about the only thing that helps heal the issues that are underlying that cause the shadow is love, okay? So if, for example, you're jealous, if you're jealous about somebody, what underlies that? Why are you jealous? Where's that coming from? What is the wound that is creating the outer display of jealousy? It might be something such as insecurity, you know, lack of self-esteem and lack of confidence, an inability to move past your own self-sabotage. So you try and knock down the person that in your eyes has got it all going for them, you know, because it's easier to do that than to actually look at your wound that prevents you from rising like the person that you're trying to knock down, for example, that you're jealous of. So that's why love is the thing that is needed to help heal that wound that is underneath. You know, the lack of self-esteem, the insecurity, the feeling of abandonment maybe, you know, that this person has got, you know, all the friends, this person's got their life sorted, this person's got the money, this person's got the success, this person's got the looks, you know, it will be an illusion anyway, because every single person has got things going on in their life. Every single person has got challenges and problems. It's just you're looking at the surface level, but you've got to love the wound underneath that's producing the shadow effect that you see on top, okay? So that's the first 2 cards that come out. Let's have another 2. And again, excuse me, without wanting to go on and on, which I know I am, but about that other deck, that was the thing that was missing. I'm realising now from it. There was no love. I couldn't feel any of the love. It was like in your face, graphic, you know. Well, maybe some people respond to that. I mean, I think I'm pretty tough love, actually. Metatron's pretty tough love. And it's been said to my face before that, you know, he's not very loving, is he? Well, yeah, he is, but it's tough love. There is still love there. Absolutely, there's still love there. But when there's an absence of love, it's like, ooh, that's, I realise now, that's why I couldn't get on with the deck. There was no love there. There was no love within it. Interesting, isn't it? Right, let's have 2 more cards, please, Metatron. It's exactly 11:11. Can you see my clock, just to prove it? 11:11. I had a dream about the ankh last night. I'm just remembering that that image of the ankh was in my dream. Can't remember why it was in my dream, but somebody was holding that picture. Okay, 2 more cards at 11:11. What are we going to get? We're going to get confidence. I was just talking about confidence. High Priestess of Fire. Letting go. We talked about letting go yesterday. It's a beautiful card, that card of confidence. Look at that. What is going to heal you? What is going to help you to grow in confidence? That's the question that's coming through. So I was using as an example, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem might very well be creating some shadow aspects within yourself. It's like you lash out in pain. So we need to heal the wound that's lying underneath. And the wound that's lying underneath that Metatron wants to talk about today is lack of confidence. As you get older in life, you start to, it's almost like a light bulb goes off. And you realise that a lot of people who appear very confident on the surface have actually just learnt to manage their energy and still have within them seeds of doubt, huge doubt. I have it still within me, you know, and people are always maybe a little bit surprised when I say that, but it's the truth. I was a very, very shy child. I was a shy teenager. I was quite a shy early 20-year-old, and I sort of came more into my confidence as I grew into my 30s. Now I'm in my 50s, I'm more confident than I ever have been, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and some days it's still a journey. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I think sometimes when we're very underconfident, there is this isolation with it, where you feel as though you're the only one that is like it. Whereas actually the reality is there's a huge portion of the world's population, I want to say, that actually struggles with confidence. And I think tied into that confidence is, I mean, it links very strongly into the solar plexus chakra. And it links into the energy of fire, which we've got here. So fire as an element links to the solar plexus. If you think about the phrase, you know, what is the phrase? Sorry, setting, what lights your fire? Literally, what lights your fire? To be confident, for example, in something, you've got to care about it. You've got to at least honour it. You've got to respect it. It could be a job. It could be, let's use the example of a job. It could be a job. It almost doesn't matter what you do, but if you have the right mindset to it and you care about it and you respect it, you respect the fact that this is actually bringing me income in that is able to help me survive, that is able to help me thrive, hopefully as well, that is bringing good things into my life, then the more that you put into anything, the more that you get back. And it's the same with this energy of confidence. I was looking at a book yesterday because it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, actually, and she likes books. But like everybody, you know, you get stuck on certain authors, and then she's read everything about a particular author. So I was trying to find a new author, a new book, and I didn't buy it actually in the end, but I can't remember what it was, but it was basically a story about a young girl and who feels like she's on the fringes of life, and as though everybody else is sort of, you know, being able to get on and do what they're meant to be doing, and, you know, going to the dances and whatever else, you know, youngsters do. And then she's forced to sort of get into it, you know, or she forces herself to get into it. And what it is life, you know. And sometimes it is just that push that we have to give ourselves as well. The realization that we can only grow in confidence when we actually do something ourselves to help allow it to grow. It's like a muscle. For a muscle to grow stronger and to develop, it has to be tested. It has to, when I say be tested, it has to have something that it goes up against. It's that thing about just taking the plunge. Doing something for the first time. Growing in confidence by nature has got an action behind it, which is very linked into the energy of fire. There's an action that precedes the confidence. You grow in confidence the more that you're able to take on a new challenge, do something you've not done before, try something different. It's very hard just to grow in confidence just by sitting alone on your own with nothing ever changing. So you've got to do something that leads you into a new direction. Got a couple of animal energies. We've got 3 animal energies within this spread that I've got here for us today. We've got the energy of the cat, we've got the energy of the horse, and we've got the energy of the butterfly. What do I want to say about that? That horse. I saw the card loyalty in this deck earlier. It feels as though it goes with the energy of loyalty. What do I mean by that? I actually wanted to say it's about being loyal to yourself. If we could start to think about our behaviours in terms of whether we are loyal to ourselves, whether we're honouring ourselves, putting ourselves first, trying to develop ourselves, and that we're loyal to that programme, that life path, then I think it helps us to progress. What goes with this card of confidence? Let me just pull one more for the horse. It's a gorgeous animal. Of course, horses by nature are very healing as well. There's something about uniqueness coming through. So like the cat, as we all know, cats are just completely unique and individual and have this energy of sort of, you know, I am who I am, you know, accept me or don't accept me, but, you know, feed me, and, you know, just very independent. The butterfly is quite fleeting, isn't it? They don't live for very long, I don't believe, butterflies, but yet in their life they are able to create just, well, the moments of beauty for us as we observe them. The horse. Let's see what the horse... Why have we got the confidence card linked into the horse? I'm hearing animals won't let you down as well. Something here about animals not letting you down. Reminder, don't forget, has come up with the horse. Don't forget. Reminder and confidence. What does that mean? Don't forget, reminder. Okay, it's linked into remembering who you really are, remembering your divine light, remembering that you can do anything, remembering that you came here as a seed of God, effectively, and you came here knowing that you could do what you set out to accomplish, and to always remember that, to never forget, and so not to allow low self-esteem and low confidence to blight that. okay? And it's almost as though the horse just feels like this faithful friend there who's helping to guide her back to herself. It's just like an energy of a friend, isn't it, there on that card? Okay, let's end today's session with a burst of citrine, golden citrine, which is the solar plexus spray. Okay, Archangel Metatron, golden citrine. Let's all have a little dose of this today. Okay. Link into your solar plexus. I'm just going to spray it at you. And let's pull that golden light down into our centre. And then just feel that golden light just illuminating your aura, flowing all the way down to your feet as well. Just encircling you with gold. Much love, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.